Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts celebrating Power Hour on today, May 24th, before the long weekend. I mainly just wanted to kind of keep an eye on AMC and GameStop, see how they close the week relative to their max pain. I do think that we are seeing, kind of a bleed out right now to discourage people from holding, but I do think we will be seeing another rally in the weeks ahead, maybe a month from now. So I'm pretty curious to see how they close today. But yeah, and I do. Hey, Kevin, what's up? I do see that you have a request for BURU, so I will pull that up. And then I have some other ones that I did not get to previously. So yeah, we can look at them as the day closes with 1 hour, about 59 minutes left in the trading for the day. Hey RW, what's up? And so Buru, let's see, I'm just going to see what this is. It says Amex, so this is developer and manufacturer of industrial blue laser technology. Cool. The company is focused on leveraging fundamental physics, and it's designed to produce a laser in materials processing, which includes laser welding and additive manufacturing of copper, gold, aluminum, and other industrial metals. Seems like a pretty smart play. Up about 37, almost 38% so far on the day, 38% at 19.14 cents. Did get as high on the day of 24.8 cents. It's a little bit of a pullback. But yeah, let's see. I'm just going to do like most of my analysis on the daily chart, and then I will flip over to maybe the hourly or 10-minute time frame, something like that. But yeah, I'm just seeing the lows over here. I'm kind of lining it up to the high of the day, which coincidentally happened to be to the fraction of a penny. But yeah, I was just looking over here. This was support previously, so maybe that'd be resistance again, as we did get a wick above that level here on November 15th, also on April 4th and May 6th. And they got this big red candle up to 39 cents, but quite a pullback there. And the wick high today was right at that level. This could be, I don't know if this disqualifies it as a cup and handle, because this handle goes lower than the cup. I wonder if this could be considered a very ugly, a very lopsided inverse head and shoulders, where you have left shoulder here, head. I don't think that works because the neckline would go up here. But maybe, connecting from here to over there. So let's see, the high here was 38 cents. Try to get that lined up just right. All right, so maybe that's another level to be paying attention to, 38 cents. Did get a wick up to it, but rejection from it on May 17th. And I guess what we can do is, let's see, I guess a Fibonacci retracement from up here. That's a high of 39 cents down to the low here, which was 14.19 cents. Wait, I'm reading this wrong. The low, 12.55 cents. There we go. And I'm just going to add some levels to that. And so, yeah, it looks like it's getting rejected from multiple levels, from the 382 and the 236. So it'd be nice to see price getting above and closing above 1879, or especially 2265. And if I do throw up the volume profile, yeah, price is below a lot of the volume traded down here. I think really just because of this big spike. So big move up, but it did pull back. Lots of volume traded on that day. But actually not traded in that range here. So I guess that would correspond with the trading over here. But yeah, hopefully it can at least close above 16.5 cents. So right here, then there's not too much volume traded above it. And we can see here that we have the higher highs in the stock price. However, with the RSI, that's a corresponding lower high. So that's bearish divergence. We did see a pullback from that. Now we are seeing a lower high in the price and a lower high in the RSI. So that could be suggesting, that there's no bearish divergence, no hidden bearish divergence or anything like that, just lower highs in both, so no divergence. And so maybe this will be continuing higher. I don't know too much about the stock, but given that it's related to, industrial metals and stuff like that, it seems like it could be a pretty interesting play. Yeah, and I guess I can flip over to the hourly time frame. I mean, potentially with this after hours trading, maybe there's a double top here. And that is getting rejected from the 382, which is 22.65 cents. But then wicking above, like I said, to 24.80. But maybe this is, so let's see here, we see volume is really just picked up as it's going up from the bottom here. The last time we saw that much volume was this rally over here. More volume. It didn't continue for like multiple days though, so maybe that's something to be cautious about. And here, lower high, no bearish divergence. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. My thought process on it. I could see, I don't know, maybe if it were to pull back, maybe pulling back to like 15 or 16 cents with this consolidation here, that might be acting as support. And maybe what we could do is a smaller retracement from here up to the high of the day. And that looks like it's holding the 618. So that's right around, let's see if I can get that lined up. Almost right. It's not going to be exact. But, closing above 1725 or, even better, 1869, 1870, that could be good. Key levels from the Fibonacci retracement that might be of significance. But yeah, oh yeah, no problem. Understand if you got to run at lunch. Yeah, I just decided to take I think kind of like after last week with all the volatility around AMC and GameStop, I requested take a half day today. And, knowing full well that, it's exciting right now, I'll schedule next Friday off. Probably because I'm scheduling Friday off, it's probably not going to be too exciting of a day. But, and I will add BURU to the DGen Ed list. Might take it off here. But yeah, with AMC up about 5% on the day, GameStop up about 3.5%. I will be doing videos on AMC probably right after the close today, once I add timestamps to this and also to GameStop. Yeah, I feel like the AMC chart actually looks a little bit stronger, having pulled back to the 786, doing a full retracement from the all-time low of 238 up to the market hours high of 1188. It is holding the 786, also above both of these downtrends. So I feel like this is a really good time to be accumulating. Maybe it goes a little bit lower, but still I feel like much great discount from where price might be, in the next couple of months. GameStop has really pulled back to these levels that I had talked about, being just above and having wicked below $18 a share today, hitting a low of 1770. I had talked about these levels being good dip buying opportunities, thinking that we might be seeing a pullback before a rally up, but it may end up being that we see perhaps a dip below and close below 18 at some point, maybe even getting down to $15 a share. And I just view that as, great dip buying opportunities, because I do think we will see more rallies to the upside. But yeah, and I can go over Max Payne with these two tickers as well if you guys are interested. But I do see Ben, hey, what's up? What do you think about AVRO based on today's trading action? So I got a very small position. I think I just have like 2 shares, so it's pretty sad. Just didn't have enough on the side to really add to it. AVRO. But yeah, I mean, I've noticed that it's up, although maybe this is putting in, it's not necessarily a topping signal or topping tail because it's not in like the bottom quarter of it, of the trading for the day. But, I do think it has broken out from this downtrend. I think the chart looks really, really good. But I could see a pullback at some point to test this. I mean, I guess that's kind of like best worst case scenario, or worst best case scenario would be a pullback to maybe around $1.30, dip by there, and then it go higher. If we look at the volume profile, we do see it kind of stick out here right around $1.30. So I could see that. And so, like I said, I have a very small position. And so with this, I'm curious to see if it does play out, as in make a pretty big move to the upside. I forget what I said in that video where I think price could be going. But just to the highs here, it's $1.94. I believe I was thinking that price might be coming up to here, maybe 350. So yeah, I mean, this for me is just like one to very slowly accumulate, and it's very easy to slowly add to it at this price. So I'm not going too crazy. I'm not FOMOing in or anything like that. I think that we'll probably see a pullback. Maybe it even just comes down to like 140, as there are some tops over here, some candle tops. And yeah, so I feel like this is a good one to like not be at all emotional about. I think it's going to be going a lot higher. And it's so cheap, it's very easy to DCA into. Somebody did mention, it's on Twitter, somebody I think tagged me or something, I haven't read it, but somebody posted about them merging with another company, so I think the ticker will be changing. But just as far as this chart goes, it looks pretty good. So I think it looks great. And I will take a look at TPET as well. And that's petroleum, triple petroleum, is that right? TPET. Yeah, so I think I saw that, wow, this is up almost 11%. Did pull back just a couple days ago to the 786. So that could be the bottom there, having hit the lows on the 22nd, so that being Wednesday, hitting a low of 20.3 cents, breaking below the 786 at 21.7 cents, but closing above. Yeah, I mean, so that is, looks like that a bottom was potentially put in there. And then so like the next levels to reclaim would be getting into the 30-cent range, closing ideally above like 32.5 cents, reclaiming the 618, and getting above the 50% level at right around 40 cents. That might be kind of tough because there were a number of tops there this wick above it, but closed below, even though it was a green candle day, closing just below that level at, let's see, 39.5 cents. But yeah, from current price, that represents just up to that level a 50% swing. So yeah, that looks pretty good. I could see this going up to 40 cents, but maybe getting rejected there, and then ideally finding 32 cents as support, and then maybe going up to the next leg up. But yeah, I think this looks like a dip buying opportunity that we saw on Wednesday. And, it's only up not even 10% today, so it's not that crazy. But yeah, I think that could be the bottom volume profile. We've got all of this price action here, volume traded in that range, and we see that here. So I think it's like right above support. I would say the bottom's probably in for it. Yeah, so that's a pretty cool one. I think, yeah, I guess like the last time I went over it, I had probably mentioned the golden pocket here, but clearly broke below that and then just kind of bled down. So, but yeah, the 786 looks like it's holding. And it's, I think it's a good thing to factor in with these retracements too, not just the levels, but like how they make sense. How do they fit in with the chart? And so with this 786, we get a wick below it, but close above. So we seem to be respecting it. And then also over here, we have this red candle that opened above it, opening at 22 cents, but closed below. So, there's some price action there, potentially acting as support, overlap of these two wicks here. So that level makes sense there as well. And then coming back over to here, that does look like it was kind of, support for this fake out bull flag. Green candle up, then consolidation. But that, if we switch over to, let's see, maybe the hourly time frame, I'm going to have to take a step back in time to view that. But yeah, I mean, with this, green move up, but then really we see this red move. And then this, yeah, I mean, it was tricky. It looked like it could be breaking to the upside, but I think it's just like this, it came down and then was consolidating, broke lower. So yeah, so I think that the 786 makes sense as acting as support, getting a bounce there. And yeah, so I'd look for it to be going above 32.5 and potentially getting rejected from 40 cents, and that being a pretty nice swing right there. And then maybe add back in at 32.5. So yeah, cool chart. Now that it's hit a bottom, like it looks clear that there's a bottom there. And let's see. Let's see. Yeah, no problem. Let's see. I'm just catching up on the comments. I'm going a little slow. I'm a little tired. And Ben, yeah, I will look at Blink. Yeah, RW, glad that's hopefully helpful as far as TPET. I probably say that incorrectly. I want to say PT. But yeah, I think that looks like a good level that's respected. I'll add Blink up here, and I'll try to do an EV charging video over the weekend, but I am working. It's like 24 hours over the course of the Saturday and Sunday, so it might be tough to do like a multi-ticker video. But yeah, I mean this, let's see, the 236, that could be an important level from this retracement, but I could extend this up to 352, which was the high hit on May 14th. And so if I just adjust this to 352, we can see that price is below the 236. And so I would think that, excuse me, I need to turn the mic off when I do that. I'm sorry if that's annoying. Yeah, I am tired today. But anyway, sorry about that. The 382 is right around $3 a share. That just makes sense as a psychological level, whole dollar number. That being really like $3.01. And yeah, just 1 second. Whew, I needed that. Sorry. But yeah, so $3, I could see it pulling back to that. It does look like it wicked down to it on May 21st. $3.02. So approximately at that level. And so I would look for it to just be holding that. If it can reclaim at $3.20, that would be really good. And but if I do adjust this back to how it was, going from the high here, yeah, that's probably not as useful. So I'm just going to readjust that back to that high of $3.52. And from this consolidation, volume's gone down a little bit. And on this green candle day, we do see volume going up. On this red candle day, relative to that previous day, price is coming down, but volume's also going down. So, I mean, this to me looks like it's probably going to continue higher, but I just think that it needs to find its footing. Like here, actually, I'm going to readjust this back. So from here, it pulled back to the 382, found support, and then continued higher to a new high. And now if I adjust that back to the highs here, it's pulled back to the 382 again. And so maybe it's getting ready for another rally higher, maybe to get to the highs that were hit on February 15th, $3.62. So maybe that's on the table for next week, $3.62. So yeah, I mean, I think the chart looks good. And yeah, and thinking about levels that makes sense as far as the chart goes. $3 corresponding with the 382 here does correspond with the top over here. So the high on March 28th, or sorry, the close on March 28th was $3.01. So pretty much perfectly lining up with that 382. The open the following day was $3.02. And so that was being, resistance in the past. So I do think it could be support in the future, or, is acting currently as support. And let's see. Going back in the past, it was kind of a little bit of resistance here. There was some consolidation below it. So if we do throw up the volume profile, yeah, I guess it is a little bit precarious because it has been consolidating in this region. And also, with the consolidation over here, it's kind of breaking into that. And so maybe it does break lower. But I generally think that it looks like I'm leaning more for it to be going higher. But, when I was leaning for it to be going down, it went up. So maybe I'm like a contraindicator. But I think that the chart looked good. I think it's been holding these levels up nicely. Although, with this green candle up, it did pull back a lot of those gains. But there are still gains from that. So open from that day, it's the lowest open of the week, up about almost 3% from there. So, I don't think that's bad. I think it's pretty good. Natural gas, yes. So hopefully, before I switch over to natural gas, Ben, hopefully that's a fine analysis of Blink. I'll probably do a follow-up on, I've noticed ChargePoint was going up today. I don't really follow EVgo too closely, but since I did just do a video on them, I'll probably do the three tickers together in one video. Might be unedited, just like that might be the only way to get it out, but I'll try to do that over this weekend. But yeah, natural gas. So, let's see, I've got the chart over here. I think it's pretty cool that it did go up to this level. And I haven't adjusted any lines on this chart since I think like almost 3 weeks ago is the last time I did a video. I got out of my position in UNG at, I believe, 1660. I could have made more money, a couple $100 more money with that. But I was under the impression it was going to be bumping into resistance, I believe, around here, and it just powered through. And so I'm waiting for a pullback, and I actually bought one share of KOLD, KOLD, which is, I think, 2x leverage short natural gas, which was a mistake. My average is 57 cents. But yeah, with this, maybe we're going to maybe we get a bounce into early next week, come up to like 289, and then come back down, and then that is a head and shoulders pattern. And so if we take a measurement from the approximate top of this head to that neckline, and I need to, let's see, I don't want to just use the measurement tool, but I want to, yeah. Well, let's see, this is, coming down to the neckline. It's about a drop of 35 cents. Okay, there, I've got it there. Oh, that's why I need to, I don't do TradingView too often, but I just kind of want to, man, I guess I need to switch over to the cursor to move it. But yeah, so there's that. Man, why am I not able to do this? Let's see. Price range. Okay, date and price range. I'll do this. So going from the high here to this low, that's a drop of like 35 cents. And so we take that to the neckline. That could be putting price back into this range. And so I'm kind of waiting for that. I didn't add to my one KOLD share. I just have one. But I'm just going to wait, and maybe it doesn't go back to $57 and I lose a little bit of money. That's fine. It's just one share. And I feel like with natural gas, with it being like the widowmaker, I feel like it's just kind of like an opportunity cost killer. Like you put money into it. And, I've gone over how, like earlier in the year, how the forecasted average for 2024 is $3.50. So from down here, right around 150, it's a more than 100% swing to the upside. But, maybe you start getting a position around these levels, then you're just waiting for, let's see, this is going back to January, for like 5 months. And yeah, just potentially like really testing you over here. Let's see, how much of a drop was that from like this red line? That's a decrease in price of about 27%. So you just got to endure all of that. And I feel like for me, I feel like there are better plays, there are more interesting plays. So that's kind of why I've more or less removed myself from natural gas. I just don't think it's as, I just think the opportunity cost is just too extreme. But I can switch over to let's see, natural gas tickers here. So yeah, for KOLD, I have a position right around here, right around 57 cents, which does correspond with the bottoms here. So maybe that's resistance. I was actually thinking, I get paid today, I got paid today, but I just move money around. I'm going to put some into my trading account next week. And I was thinking, oh, well, I could get another share of KOLD, get my average down in case it gets rejected around 54, 55. I can at least get my average below that and then, get out of it when it gets up there. But then I'm thinking, well, we hit the bottom at like 36.3 cents. We gapped up. Maybe we do see, like I was mentioning with the natural gas chart, maybe we do form a head and shoulders pattern. And if that's the case, I could see a pullback with, let's see, KOLD, and maybe Tuesday, I guess. I don't think natural gas will be trading on Monday, with it being Memorial Day, but a pullback on Tuesday, maybe that will be the day to add a little bit to get the average down and then exit when up here. UNG, I had a buy order at 15, but then price started going up, and I bought with the amount allotted for picking up shares at 15. Will it come back to 15? I don't know. I could see it bumping into $18 for, this is UNG, United States Natural Gas, an ETF for trading natural gas. And that orange level, $18, I could see it at least pulling back to that, maybe getting to like 17, but going lower than that, I don't think it's necessarily going to come to 15. So what I might do, not paying too close attention to it, but if it does come down to 17, maybe I'd establish a small position, but I find that it just ends up eating a lot of time, and I'd rather have my money in other positions that may end up losing money overall, but that's the way it goes. But yeah, I feel like it's an opportunity cost killer. And so let's see. And can I also take a look at J&J? Normally I always buy the dip, but I have the feeling that this time it will go much lower towards 139. Yeah, so it's Johnson & Johnson, is that right? Oops, J&J. Yep. So I'll add it to that list. Oh, and I don't want to... We'll add it to the request list, not the natural gas list, because that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, J&J. See, you were thinking, normally always buy the dip, but I have the feeling that this time it will go much lower towards 139. Wow, this is pretty crazy how it's just been like up and down, up and down. Might switch over to the weekly time frame. I guess I had been looking at this in 2021, drawing some arrows and ideas. Just gonna delete all my crap from here. Just 1 second. It doesn't always delete like right away. I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna clear the chart. There we go. Why is that not clear? Okay. Let's see. I feel like there's maybe like a long-term trend line here that might be useful to pay attention to. And so, and I'm probably going to draw this with like the expectation that it doesn't go too low. I don't know. Let's see. Yes, this is on like the monthly time frame. And I'll do that. I'm just going to fix this to the exact lows. So 44.12 is that first one. And so that's the low here for the week closing June 29th of 2012. And then what's the other pivot point? And then maybe I'll do the low for this day, which was a 111.67. 111.67. I like the way that sounds. All right. So yeah, I mean, that's acted as support, getting some monthly wicks below it. We did close last month below it. And so, yeah, with May being around the corner, this could be the beginning of a breakdown. So, yeah, I mean, like if we look at that uptrend, like there has not been one close at or below that level. There have been wicks below, but none below it. No closes below it until last month. So not looking so good. However, there's no confirmation of that breakdown. And so confirmation would be a monthly close below last month's low. So last month's low was $141.98. So if we see a sell-off in J&J going below that low of 141.98, then, I mean, I personally am not going to short something or buy puts on something that's this expensive just because they'd be too pricey for me, the contracts would be. But, yeah, this looks like if it closes May below 141.98, that would be acting as confirmation of this breakdown. And then from there, I could see it coming down to like 112 or so. Or maybe no, that's, prior support over here. I need to think about this differently. We want to look at the resistance there. So I could see it coming down to like 126 or 7, maybe 125, as there were a number of, candles up to that level here, this consolidation. And so looking at the volume profile, yeah, I mean, that'd be basically coming down to maybe, 117, 118, where this volume shelf sticks out. Yeah, I mean, this is really, I forget, I could look up how is this drawn? So I have the volume profile drawn, the common column, and I guess that's where more price action is. Point of control, value, I don't know what this is. VAH, I need to look up what that is. Yeah, maybe those are good levels to have on there. So yeah, I mean, it's like testing this level, the VAH. I'll volume, average, something. So I'll look up VAH volume profile. Volume area high, value area high. So yeah, I mean, it's testing that. And that does seem to correspond with the close of last month, taking a step. I mean, I guess it just depends on the perspective that you have, how far back in time you go. But yeah, I mean, I could see this potentially closing next week, which is closing the month. Is that right? Is next week? I can just look at the options table. I don't need to look at my phone. So yeah, next week, that would be a close for next week. If next week closes below 41.98, I think that this could potentially be coming down to 120, maybe 125, 20, maybe 130, somewhere in that range. I think it could be coming down lower. But yeah, definitely looks like it's breaking down on the monthly time frame. So very cool. And I think, yeah, I added that to the DGen Ed list. So hopefully that's helpful. Like a monthly time frame, maybe not as useful for technical and or for more immediate trades. But yeah, I mean, I could adjust that that uptrending line to correspond with daily prices, and maybe that'd be more useful. But this is drawn based on the monthly, so you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt here. But closing below like $145 could be bad. There's this gap fill here, and actually that would be coming down to, let's see, this is the close of last month. That close was 143.43. And so, yeah, I think that price, I think that you're right that this could be breaking lower than 139 or lower. Yeah, so I'd agree with your assessment. And then closing above 318 today would make it more bullish for the stock. Ben, are you referring to Blink? Let's see here. I think closing above 320 would be really good. But let's see, what was yesterday's close? 312. What was the high here on the 21st? It's Tuesday. High 316.5. So I definitely say at least 316.5 would be good for a close. And then it's just like candles higher than that. But getting a close above this high, I think that would be good. So yeah. What's up, Vincent? Yeah. So Cena, that's one thing. I really like natural gas because I think it's good for exercising discipline as a trader. Like, you have to be disciplined. You have to execute your trades. And if you don't, it's the widowmaker. It could really destroy you. But, trading's not a game. So I think it's a good exercise. But I think that there are much better plays. And yeah, like on Twitter, I see a lot of people, Gassino11, I believe is the person's name or their handle. They're always saying bottom in, Nat Gas bottom in. And they've been saying Nat Gas bottom in for a while. And, they have been right in the sense that we have seen this bottom. And so them saying bottom in this whole time, spot on. But that's so many months of just, so I guess really it just depends on your time frame. I would like to be really good at trading natural gas, but I'm more interested in shorter term plays where I can have clean in and outs. And so Nat Gas, I don't really feel like is one, at least not for me right now. But maybe if it pulls down to on this chart, I'm not sure exactly on this chart. Usually I just kind of I try to listen to Gareth Soloway and see what he does just to kind of follow him, use him as an example, because he does go over, his approximate enter and exit strategies, averaging into positions. And so for me, I'd probably wait with UNG for $17. I think that's probably an entrance price for it. But yeah, and let's see. Wow, heard J&J was the best stock, period. Yeah, but look at that chart. The best stocks always end up rolling over at some point. And also, yeah, this is looking at it on the daily time frame. What do we see here? We have big down move followed by uptrending consolidation. And then let's see if I can draw a channel here. So, just including all of this, we've broken below that. And so this is just based on one standard deviation, and prices resided in the uptrending channel. It's broken below. Maybe we see a test of that coming up to 148, maybe 149 next week, but maybe it gets rejected there and then continues down. So yeah, it doesn't look so great. And maybe, since I'm doing this on the shorter time scale now, let's see. The high here, 161.80. Coming down to 141.98. And so price got rejected from the 618. It's potentially testing the 236, but I'm just going to, let's see, I'm going to do another retracement, and then I will omit some levels from this. But then if we come down to that low, go up to, let's see, this high, which was 154.08. Just gotta try to get it. I gotta adjust it anyways. So let's see, 08 here, and then the low 141.98. And so we'll do that, and with this, I'm just going to leave the 618 on it. And I'll color it yellow so it stands out a little bit. And so, yeah, I mean, that predicted this, and now we're back at the 618. So maybe it does bounce there, but I could see it coming down to like 144.5, 144, 145. And that would be the 786. Maybe there's a bounce there, but maybe that would then be like a, it could be not looking so good. So I'd be careful with it. And so, yeah, and I of course could be wrong too. I'm always learning from this stuff as I go, but I feel like the things that really stand out to me is like if I see one thing that's whether it's bullish or bearish, maybe that's compelling. But if I see like three things that line up, like I feel like the SoFi chart around earnings, I'm just going to pull that up because I think it's a really good example. I'm not sure what happened with the price today. Did just put out a video on it. It has bounced a little bit, but it's below $7. And so earnings, I had talked about this potentially being a head and shoulders pattern, and it nearly getting to above 794, which was the high at the top of the head. If it would have gotten higher than that during market hours, it would have negated the head and shoulders pattern, but it didn't. It waited until after hours to pump above $8 a share, but that was a fake out before earnings, and it dropped to below $7 a share from this head and shoulders pattern. A measured move from it would be coming down to $6 a share. So, I mean, I feel like that's going to happen, but also there's this yellow downtrend that it's almost broken out of. So, maybe this is kind of like what happened with Blink, that maybe this looks like it's a descending triangle, but, maybe it ends up breaking to the upside like Blink did. But maybe it does break down. And, so it wasn't just this head and shoulders pattern here, purple neckline. It was also, big down move followed by consolidation. That looks like a bear flag. And let's see. Yeah, volume was going up leading up into earnings. So maybe that's bullish for a continuation. But let's see. This was a lower high. Also, about a little bit lower in the RSI. So no real bearish divergence. But it just seemed to me like it was weak. So when you have a number of things that kind of stack up, then I think that it's good. And so I didn't trade that, but if I would have, from that close, that could have been, 14% swing, so nothing crazy. But if I would have bought some puts with a strike of, let's see, that was with a strike of $8, so, in the money puts, that would have printed massively on the day after, basically, a couple days after. So, yeah, I think it's good to be paying attention to that stuff. And, yep, and so I think I've caught up with most everybody's comments. So I might flip over to AMC. Wow, this one could be... So I've added a lot to AMC recently. I'm probably going to pause adding to it. And after next week, unfortunately, covered call expired in the money a few weeks ago when it closed above $16 here on the 3rd. And so I'm waiting for the wash sale window to pass, which is 30 days. And then so a lot of the GameStop money that I took out of that, I rolled into AMC. And then so once the wash sale window ends, I plan on buying the dip with GameStop. And with that being said, I think it's really interesting how the timing of these things can kind of play out because, I got squeezed out of my position on May 3rd. I should have been more conservative with my covered calls. Stupid mistake. I've done it before. I'll probably do it again. And do I regret that? I mean, not necessarily, because I think it was factoring in my risk management and it fit me, my risk profile, I guess. So I don't really regret it, especially because prices come down so much. But looking at this, from this day when cover call was assigned, going over 30 days. So really, I have to go 31 days is to, May 3rd. So I can start buying GameStop a week from, so not next week, but the week after. I hope the price is still low, but if it's not, that's fine. I'll still get back some shares. I think my average is around 21 or 22, so ideally lower than that. But I would just think it'd be really interesting if, I have to exit my position and then I buy back if it's still low. Then that's kind of like the perfect window before it would rally again. And I do think that for the options expiring in June, so let's see the monthly ones, that's June 21st, I think that we could be seeing a lot of volatility around then, around the middle of June, just like we saw around the middle of May 14th hitting that high. So I'm excited about that. And I do believe that for GameStop today, the max pain is, let's see, I'm just going to refresh this, but I'm pretty sure it's $20 a share. Let's see. Got to let that load. I'll refresh AMC's as well, which is $4.50. AMC might close in the money for the max pain. Actually does look like it will be. It's not like massively above max pain, so it's not going to be a huge thing. But yeah, and even if GameStop is closing below max pain a few weeks ago was like $11 a share. So it doesn't matter. Price is being driven higher, and that's good. That's going to be squeezing shorts and those with puts, whatever. Anybody who's going against the stock, it will not be in their favor. Yeah, $4.50. So AMC looks like it could be closing in the money at $4.86. We've got about 12 minutes left in trading for the day, so it could be pushed back down to below $4.50. But really, the open for today was $4.66. As long as we close above that or close above $4.41, $4.42, that means that we're respecting the 786 and that this could be the bottom. We could be holding this level for, like I said, at least another week. And I think that would just to be kind of bore people out of positions, or for those who FOMO bought at the top here to lose conviction, sell at the bottom before another rally up. I think a lot of it is psychology, and that people want to be diamond handing it. Even if they buy up here, a lot of people who say that they will diamond hand will lose conviction when the price is low, sell out only for it to rally up again and them to buy back in at another high, which might be well above $12. I had mentioned that I think that this could be going to easily $20 a share, filling this gap here. But I do think so here we saw a blow off top, but then we reclaimed a level moving higher. And so what I could see is a blow off top to 35, 40, maybe filling this gap at 45 or so. And then maybe a pullback to 20, maybe 16, actually maybe to this little volume shelf, or not volume shelf, but this little flag level here, that would be pulling back to 14. So yeah, and also I do think it's punishment if, it's you buy the top here and then you wait for it to pull back and then you lose conviction, you sell, then it's oh crap, well, I'll buy back in. And then price goes above the price that you had bought in, and then you say, oh crap, I'll just wait for it to pull back to my price. But then it goes way higher, but then settles above for the price that you had bought at like $12. And so that's just like forcing people to be establishing position higher and higher and not capitalizing on those gains with a lower average or trimming, whatever people want to do. But yeah, I feel like this is positioned for over the next month, GameStop and AMC to be rallying a lot. And I'm going to do videos on both of them after the close. AMC probably right after the close, probably a lot of the same stuff I'm rambling about now. And then GameStop maybe a little later, and I might get a plug video out today as well. If not, I'll do that tomorrow. And Oleg, I see your request for HOLO, so I will look at that. You're saying that it's again on bottom. Is it going to the top soon? So let's have a look. And so right here, yeah, so pretty massive move up. And I'm actually going to delete these retracements because, oh, wow, this is pulled back. Oh, yeah, I guess I did this. Yep, so this is back at the bottom. Could there be another rally up? Quite possibly. So I guess this is, I don't know if this is a penny stock, if it's above $1. But yeah, I've been covering a fair amount of them recently, and there have been a lot of rallies. I think that this could be, similar to like GameStop, AMC, Plug, whatever it is, the penny stocks that have recently run, that we see a big up move, and then following the pullback, we just see a consolidation or bleed down that bores people out of positions, accepting losses, thinking, I FOMO'd in something that was shooting up and it's never going back up. I'm just going to cut my losses and then at that time, so maybe a week or two from now, then it rallies, and then those people say, oh crap, I sold my position last week. I should have just held it. It's now trading above $4 a share, getting up to like $5.30, maybe bumping into resistance a little bit around $4.44. But if I look at this on including the after hours pricing, yeah, almost got up to $4.44, went up to $4.22. But yeah, I mean, I could see this as being a double bottom. I definitely think that there's less risk now than, there was when it pulled back to the 786. And like, this being a down move from the top, red candle consolidation as a bear flag, broke lower, and then we get another flag pattern, but then it ends up going a little bit higher, but yeah, it's just bleeding. And this big wick up suggesting there isn't enough buying pressure to get the price to go higher. So then it just, yeah, I mean, this is like a this looks like a small bear flag here. Bear flag, I've been meaning to say bear flag. But then coming down, and then really this is all like a bear flag, break lower. And yeah, so I could see that it has potentially found a bottom. Let's see, what was the low of today? I'm going to switch over to the daily time frame for that. The low for today was 157, so a penny above this prior low. And so one thing that I guess would be concerning is if it were to, like, what's the close potentially going to be at? What was the open, I should say, on the 13th? The opening price was 161. So if we're closing today above 161, I think that's, could potentially suggest that the bottom is in. So yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely much less risky than it has been in the past. And, when it was back at these, 60 whatever cents, 64.6, whatever, going up to the top, it's 136% swing. Maybe it goes up again. It does look too, like there's this gap. So the low, or the close, I should say, on the 14th was $3.23. So yeah, it could be jumping up to that level to fill that. And yeah, so I think it looks pretty good. SMX Vincent, congrats on that. I assume that you're either holding or were holding. I feel bad I didn't cover it in a video. There are just so many penny stocks for me to go over. There's no way I'd get all of the winners. And I thought I added it, but I guess I didn't. So add it. There we go. Yeah, up 37%, but, it did, from today's open, it was up almost 100% on the day, but you got to sell that top. And I think it's pretty cruel too, It's like anybody who bought at the open, let's say at 14, 15 cents, almost got to 30 cents, hitting a high of 29 cents for the day. So almost 100%. If people had sell orders at 30 cents, that just being like a round change number, just a quarter and a nickel, no pennies involved. Yeah, that order was not filled. And so those people kind of got screwed unless there was some no after hours or pre-market or anything pricing going on, but maybe it continues higher. Now let's see, what we could do with this is maybe do a Fibonacci retracement from this low, so yesterday's low, which was 13.13, then going up to the high of 29 cents. I'm just going to add some of these levels. It does look like it's being rejected from the 618, so I didn't even have to add a level into that. And so, yeah, I mean, I would expect it to find support from this kind of retracement because then it pulls back. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Yeah, it's found support above. I mean, did it just move up recently or was I just reading that incorrectly? Looking at the 1 minute. Yeah, so... yeah, it was below it. I'm not crazy. And then in the past minute, it's gone above. So if today closes, so in the next 4 minutes, closes above 19.19 or above 20 cents, that would be really good. That would be a retracement to the a 61.8% retracement to the 618. And so that's an important level to be holding. But if it doesn't, it could be going down to the 7. I'll just add the other two levels around the price. So the 786 would be around 1653. So I feel like a nice thing to do with something like this is, you know, if it holds this level, you know, maybe establish a third of a position or a quarter of a position. But then if it pulls back to 650, maybe add another third or maybe half a position to this. And then, you know, even if it goes lower, prepared for that to be able to add another quarter or another third. But that way, then you at least would have like a quarter or a third of a position up here if it is respecting the 618. And it does then rally to maybe get up to 31 cents right around where this level is here, which is the 382 from this retracement coming down. But actually, we did hit a lower low, so that could probably be adjusted a little bit. Let's see. Nice. Glad you've been scooping your plays. You seem to have, like, you'll always have a really good plan about stuff. Your last videos helped a lot. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of them too, like it doesn't even necessarily have to be about the stock that you're interested in, but just like one thing that I need to work on is I need to like, and I think once, you know, financially in a little bit better position to like be able to set money, like lump sum aside for this play, you know, so I have like, okay, that's a full position. How much do I put into that? And then, okay, well, at this level, I'll add a quarter. At another level, I'll add another quarter. So I need to get better at doing that. But I feel like, yeah, it's always good to be able to add if it does break the levels that you think might be support. So then you just get your average down and, yeah, but, you know, maybe you miss out on something and there's another trade and you could shift that 3/4 or whatever of that position that you didn't exercise in buying shares to something else. But yeah, this does look like it is battling with, you know, 1919. And I might switch over. Let's see, how much time do we have? About 30 seconds, just because I really like AMC and GameStop a lot. AMC does look like it will be closing above max pain at $4.50, closing well above that, $4.80 plus cents. GameStop, though, max pain is $20 a share, and it does look like, well, it almost got up there to $19.65 being the high for the day, if I have that right. But it does look like it's going to be closing right around $19 a share. And so I'm curious to see, you know, because that's going to affect options, how they expire this week, if that's right on 19 or if maybe it's 1901 or 1899, because that can affect whether options expire in or out of the money. And so with it being at 19, I believe calls and puts with the strike of 19 would both be in the money. And so it's probably going to shift 1 penny one way or the other. And you can see here too, in this last minute, there was a push to really drive it below. Well, actually, I guess that's the after hours pricing. That's the after hours first minute candle. But yeah, I mean, it was, there were some attempts to get up to be below 19 to be in the favor of the bears. And so let's see. Oh, 20 cents for offering. You're talking about, let's see, SMX. Yeah, so just a little bit below, but still above that 1919 level is 618. So that's good. For offering price to be good. It's down. Yeah. It sucks. Like the last minute of any Friday is always like, I feel like there's always so much sell pressure to drive price below whatever round number. What options are for this? There aren't any. Yeah. And then, yeah, I will. Is it ASTS? I'll pull that up. And then I'm probably going to end this stream just so I can add timestamps. Then I want to do the AMC GameStop and plug power videos. But I do have plans in a little bit. So I'll probably do the AMC video and then the GameStop one a little bit later. And so you did ASTS. I'm just going to look at it on the daily time frame first. Yeah, so this is nice. Although, you know, red candle move and then consolidation. So maybe this is not so good. Although with today's green candle being up 14.5% on the day and reclaiming the 236 at $4.41.2. Actually, I'm going to adjust that because that's kind of BS because there's a new high. So I'd want to adjust this to $5.77. So I adjust that here, and then we can see, yeah, that it broke below the 382. So I'm just gonna see how I had that before. Yeah, so this looks a little bit nicer. Yeah, so I would just keep an eye out for $4.37.6. Don't want to see multiple closes below that. And I think that this is also kind of like a nice example of like not confirmation. So like on Wednesday, there was a wick below the 382, but not a close below. And then the following day, there was a close lower than that previous day's low. But on that previous day, it did not close below the 382. So there's no confirmation of a close below that. You just got one close, but not a confirming close, which is a second close closing lower than the previous day's low, or a prior close below that level's low. And yeah, we got a reversal today, closing actually above yesterday's low, or above yesterday's open. So looking pretty good. And so, yeah, I mean, while there is more risk to this one because it hasn't pulled back that much, it could possibly be pulling back to the 786 or maybe to fill this gap around 260, 786 being around 290, or even just coming down to like $3 a share. But as far as like what the price is doing, it does seem like it's respecting a 382, $4.37.6 would be great if it could get a close above 490.9 next week. That's the 236. That would also be above the high from Wednesday, the 22nd, a high of $4.88. So really like getting a close above 488, ideally above 491, that would look really good and suggesting that this will be going higher. So yeah, I would say 491 is like the level to suggest it's going a lot higher. Yeah, so I'd keep an eye out for that. Oh, you do hope it pulls back. They have a big contract with AT&T. Cool. And yeah, so. But yeah, on that note, since it's not too much past the hour, I might close this down just so I can get onto the AMC video, GameStop video, and if I have time, plug power video. I'm actually just going to look over at the chart. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this one is very similar to the GameStop chart, with just the big red, big move up here, but a pullback. Same thing with plug power. And, this gap has not yet been filled. I feel like $3 is, going to be a great steal if price pulls back to that level. But yeah, this is one I want to be accumulating and accumulating slowly as I tend to do. But yeah, I mean, those are just my thoughts for these. And for this week, the Sunday live stream, I'm probably going to stream it on Monday instead because that's Memorial Day, so just the day before the market opens. So I hope that's cool with you guys. I could do Sunday as well, but I just feel like there'd be more interesting stuff going on Monday evening before the market opens on Tuesday. So that's probably when I'll do the next ticker request live. And then, I'm going to try to get AMC, GameStop, maybe plug out today. If not, I'll get plug out tomorrow and maybe an EV charging station video out either Saturday or Sunday. And and before I close this, if you guys have not already, which I assume you have, make sure you like the video. And I do appreciate all of the comments, the live chat. Always fun to look. Oh, and Oleg, I missed your comment there, so I might read that before I do close this down. Regarding to AMC and GameStop, looks like the hedge funds are in manipulation control that time. Do you believe they will lose again? I think that, yes, I think that they will. Because, Max Payne has shifted higher, but, price is just gone up. I'm looking at plug, but, price has just been going up, so we're in an uptrend right now, higher lows. And even if it pulls down to like 15 or so, like a month ago, Max Payne was 11, if not lower. And so, I mean, I think this is just part of like the cycle that when it runs up a lot, you get people FOMOing in, but then you need to let the weak hands drop shares when they get restless if price is down for, a month. And, because they were expecting a MOAS. They were expecting, whether it's GameStop, AMC, plug, whatever, they were expecting it to go to like GameStop to triple digits. That almost happened, hitting a high of $80.07. But it didn't get to triple digits. And so I think that's what people are really wanting and waiting for. And I think that it will happen. But we first need to let the weak hands sell, get them moved out of the way. And then at that point, then they'll FOMO back in at the next leg up. And so, yeah, I think that they're definitely going higher. I think this is a dip buying opportunity because I think, especially if we look at like AMC in the past, there was this move up. And then how long did it take from that top? Well, not a rally up to that level, but, a rally to, so this is over the course of a month before getting that next leg up. And so, well, this was a 73% drop. But then, if one was to be accumulating down here, from this first low here, then up to this level, that's a 100% swing over the course of 16 trading days. Or going up to here, that's a 160% swing over the course of 36 days. So yeah, I mean, I think that we're just back into a cycle where this is going to be going higher. And, for those who diamond handed back here, accumulating on the pullback, like the pullback we're experiencing now, that then led to, let's see, 1,000% plus swing. So, but that took over the course of almost half a year, 112 calendar days. So, yeah, I think that we're playing the waiting game right now, and I think that if one is not buying the dip, one will be regretting it in the future. And so for me, having just gotten paid today, actually, I can't, I've got to wait until after next week. But I plan on buying the dip on GameStop if it's still low. Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's a good time to add. Yeah, so I'll do the live stream Monday, and I'll just catch up on Vincent's final comments. Oh, yeah. Well, I went over ASTS anyway, so hopefully what I said about it was useful. I feel like I kind of just glossed over it, though. They got big contract with AT&T, yeah. And no problem. And so, yeah, I'll see you guys for a live stream Monday. And I'm just going to try to put out videos on the evenings, when I get done with work. And, I'll probably be tired for them. Maybe there'll be some rough cut edit versions. But yeah, I'll have some more videos out over the weekend. I hope you guys enjoy your long weekends if you are celebrating or observing Memorial Day at your job. And if not, hope you enjoy the regular weekend. But yeah, take care, you guys.